Investor Connect podcast program. This is Hall T. Martin. I'm the host of the show, in which we interview angel investors, venture capital, private equity, family offices, and many other investor groups for startups and growth companies. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for joining us. Well, hello, this is Hall Martin with Investor Connect. Today I'm here with Karyn Scott of Care2Rock. Karyn, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Hall. I'm glad to be here.
So what were you doing before you started your current business?
Well, I had been an assistant district attorney in Austin for several years. And I stepped away from that many years ago and ended up developing a real interest in helping youth in foster care and started a nonprofit that was called Kids in a New Groove. It's still going strong. And my work with Kids in a New Groove and founding that nonprofit led me to really start Care2Rock and led me down the path that I'm on now.
Well, that's great. So when did you start the company and how did it start?
So we launched live to customers in May of last year. So we're just about a year from our official launch, but we were in technology development over a year and a half before that, getting the best audio video conferencing solution that we could find for music lessons. But to answer your question about how I ended up starting Care2Rock, after I had started Kids in a New Groove and been running that for about 10 years, that whole nonprofit was putting youth in foster care with music teachers. And I did that for about 10 years and saw great success with the kids in foster care coming through. Worked with a lot of music teachers over that period. And I noticed that teachers needed more good paying customers. They didn't have enough access to students. I always had people asking me what teachers I could recommend. And I really became interested in connecting people with quality music education through technology. And that also wanted to benefit youth in foster care because that's where my initial experience came from, working with music teachers. And Care2Rock is sort of combining all these things together in an online platform where you bring the best music teachers across the country online to teach anyone. You make it easy and affordable. And then they also volunteer for youth in foster care.
Who is the ideal customer that uses your service?
We have two sets of ideal customers, but I would say the real ideal customer for Care2Rock is a parent with usually 2 or 3 children. And usually those kids will, they can be any age, but if you're asking me the ideal, I would say a parent with a couple of children that are in middle school. And usually that parent doesn't want to drive them to lessons and they have an interest in getting their kids started with music and they really don't know where to start. They really don't know where to go for instruments, for learning. And my second customer that I also have lots of on Care2Rock is a millennial wanting to pick up a hobby. I would say we have an NFL player, Eddie Yarbrough, that takes lessons on our site in his 20s. And he's also a great customer. So 2 very different customer types, but both a good fit for our platform.
So how did you come up with this solution? You talked a little bit about it before. Can you give us more detail about how you built this system for helping people like this?
Yeah. Back when we started developing the technology and I started thinking about the idea, I was invited to go to a program at Stanford for social entrepreneurs. And I really hadn't thought much about how to scale impact through technology until I went to this program with several other social entrepreneurs. And I started to get really excited about the possibility of using technology as a platform to do all these things that I wanted to do. And so it really just kind of culminated from there where looking for how could I bring teachers on? Could they possibly teach online? I wanted something superior to Skype. I wanted something superior to what's already out there. Putting these pieces all together and thinking, wouldn't it be so cool if we could connect all these great teachers across the country and connect parents and customers that were looking for solutions to learning, and then also have it benefit over 400,000 youth in foster care across the country that don't have access to music education really at all, especially when they move locations. So that was kind of where I started just putting the pieces together slowly and started down this path.
And so what was the biggest challenge you faced when you put this together?
Oh my gosh. How many hours are in a day? Every single thing has been a challenge. I mean, there's so many challenges that were there. But I would say the one thing that I've accepted is just sort of a big overall challenge is realizing that as an entrepreneur that has come from the nonprofit world and been an attorney, I don't look like a lot of the other entrepreneurs. I may not fit into that box of what an entrepreneur should look like with a startup. I have 2 kids that are teenagers, and I just maybe don't necessarily fit into that box, but I had to overcome that limited view and realize that people start companies with all kinds of skill sets and ideas. And really, the most important thing is to just keep trying and keep moving forward and to not give up. I mean, there were challenges in building the technology, there were challenges in looking for the best possible product, and then myself not being a coder, and just so many challenges. But every entrepreneur, I believe, faces those, and it's just a day at a time, one step forward every day.
So tell us a little bit about the results that your solution generates. What have you seen out there that comes from those who use your solution?
Yeah, we've been surveying our customers, and the one thing that they really say is we make it easy and affordable for them to be learning music. We hear that that's really what we're about. So we hear customers say that they love the fact that they don't have to drive to lessons. They love the fact that our teachers are vetted, and they like it that they're able to give back by taking lessons with us. So we really feel like we're an ideal solution for people that in their busy lives just don't really know where to begin when it comes to learning music. And by being able to just log onto our site, subscribe to take however many lessons and however long they want them to be for their self or their child every month, and be able to work with some of the best teachers in the country and just click a button to start their lesson. And we provide the instruments for these customers. So that's something that sort of developed after launch, where I realized, wow, I'm shipping a lot of instruments out to customers wanting to learn how. So we came up with our own branded guitar, our own Care2Rock guitars that we are now sending out to customers, and we're hoping that we just build from there. It's really exciting to be able to send our own branded product to somebody that wants to learn music and make it really easy for them to have a quality experience from top to bottom.
Well, that's great. Well, in the last few minutes that we have here, what else should we cover that we haven't?
Well, let's see. What else should we cover? Well, we talked about kids in foster care. We talked about why I started it, the challenges. I guess I could tell kind of a funny story. I don't know, about going on. I should have mentioned this, Hall, when you asked for challenges, but one funny story is I've always been really claustrophobic, and you asked, what challenges did I face? I've always been really claustrophobic. So when I was invited to go on the show Elevator Pitch and pitch our company, I was just like, oh man, I hate elevators. But you have to go in an elevator and tell about your company, and you have about 60 seconds to do so. And then they vote on whether they let you out of the elevator, and then you get to pitch them for an investment. And so just a funny thing that I went on that show and was able to get through and get out of the elevator and actually get a commitment for funding from the investors that were there. So it's just funny that you really do have to face your fears as an entrepreneur, and just whatever they may be, you're gonna end up facing them.
Well, usually it's your fears of the unknown. It's not your fears of claustrophobia, but whatever works, I guess, is what
True. That's why it's always
I never heard
it's
of
almost
that.
too literal of an example.
Oh, okay. They didn't actually make you stay on the elevator until you pitched your way out or anything. It seems like
no, it's actually a sound stage. It's actually a sound. Yeah, it's actually a sound stage where you're not in a real elevator, you're on a set. But to me, it was like, great, I'm literally dropped in an elevator pitching investors. So much fun.
Wow. The true meaning of an elevator pitch. Now we know. Okay, well, great. So how best for listeners to get back in touch with you?
Yeah, so the best way for them to get in touch with me is just emailing me through Karyn, and it's spelled a little different, Karyn at care2rock.com, CARE2ROCK.com, or just go into our website and our contact us form. I'd love to connect with your listeners.
Oh, great. Well, we'll put that in the show notes, and looking forward to having you back in a few weeks for a follow-up to see how things are going with it. Thanks so much for taking time, and keep up the good work.
Thanks, Hall. I really enjoyed telling you about how I started Care2Rock.
Investor Connect helps investors interested in startup funding. In this podcast series, experienced investors share their experience and advice. You can learn more at investorconnect.org. Paul T. Martin is the director of Investor Connect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early-stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of Investor Connect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions.